Hello everyone. Hope everything's all working. It's been a while since I've been live, so I hope everything's still working as I left it. Hope everyone is doing okay and can hear me nice and clear and see me nice and clear. Just getting things finally set up here. Give me 1 second. But tonight we are doing question time. So if you don't know what question time is a chance for you to ask me any question you like about games development or in Unreal Engine or anything you really want to ask me at all. I'm open book for you guys for the next hour or so and try and help out as many people as I can. If this is your first time here, welcome, and the way you take part, all you have to do is put your question into chat and I'll try and catch as many as I can flying past in the hour. If I don't catch a question, don't fret, just put it in again and I'll try and catch it. If I don't worry, we'll try to do this every Wednesday of the year, barring a few exceptions from especially the past month or so. But yeah. Okay, so let's jump straight in and have a look at the chat. I see we've got some familiar faces in here. So hello Angus, hello Unreal Solver, Mage Games, hello, how are we all doing? Yeah, great, excellent. Okay, this one, there we go. Anyway. So let's go to some of these questions here. Zital, will there be any more Aurora streams? Was really enjoying them. Yes, eventually, yeah. At the moment, work has been busy with a lot of freelance work and obviously Fireteam. Fireteam is my online multiplayer FPS game that is in testing at the moment. If you want to be a tester, by the way, I forgot to mention at the start of this, if you want to be testing Fireteam and getting early access to it, it's completely free to play, by the way. Not a single penny is involved. And all you have to do is sign up to Patreon. All Patreon members will get access to it this week. So far, Gold and higher have had access to it and been playing it and testing it with me. Later this week, every Patreon member, Bronze, Silver, Gold, Platinum and Diamond, will get access to this as well. So do check that out too. And I'll also see if I can get YouTube members. Working out the Excel spreadsheets with YouTube is a bit difficult, but if I try my best to try and find a way to send over keys to those individuals on YouTube members as well, so everyone can test out deathmatch and team deathmatch inside of Fireteam. It's not finished yet. There's a few little bugs in it to fix. That's all. It's feature complete, so it's got all the maps, guns, all that's in there. It just needs to fix some bugs and that's it really, and it's good to go. So hopefully it'll be out soon. So once that's out, then I would hope to return to Aurora because I do like to make a platformer game and get fully involved into it. Next question. Hey Ryan, this is from UE5 Game Dev. Hey Ryan, how do you make a slide in multiplayer? Thanks, it would really help. Okay, so a multiplayer slide. Mine is obviously the animation part side of things because I haven't got slide animations I can show you with. Essentially, it's like anything else with it. So if I do go into the player character here and set up the multiplayer side of this, so I need to set up the input for this, which we'll do is I don't know, left shift. And then from here, we'll just do the slide. So we're going to have a custom event in here to start slide. And what we'll do for the slide is we'll do, what do we do? It'll probably be like a force type thing, I guess. So you have to change how the movement mode works because to do sliding stuff. So the character movement, we want to do on start slide. You want to do set movement mode or set friction, I guess. Call it now. Ground friction. Set ground friction 0. The first thing first, let's get working single player wise. So left shift start slide. Okay. And if I were to release it, I want to stop slide. So do custom event stop slide, and that would be very similar. Obviously, we set it back to 8. I think it was set at. Oh, not 80. And there. Okay. So do there, and so in release we are going to stop slide. This is not going to affect anything about our directional placement or anything like that. Not worried about that just yet. Just want to make sure that friction is turned down. So the friction is turned down. Isn't that great? So let's add us some bit more momentum to it. So we want to change the braking deceleration as well. So braking deceleration of walking. Oh, that is going to be also 0, and then we're going to change that down. We don't want it to decelerate too quickly. That's 2048, I think it was too. Oh my god, I cannot type. 2048. There we go. Like that. Okay, so there's me sliding. Not doing anything, it just slides into the wall. Stop sliding. Go back on. There's a slide, okay? And we probably increase momentum on the character as well if you want. So we do set max walk speed. Something a bit faster. Default is 600, so we'll up it to like 1,000. So our slide is like this. And on top of that, we'll make our character crouch, so it looks like he's actually sliding in first person. So we need to tone that they can crouch. And here we'll do crouch. And in here we'll do uncrouch. That's the single player slide. Done. Slide. Oh, I just realised, because we make it crouch, we need to change this from max walk speed to max crouch walk speed. Max walk speed crouched. Oh, set it. Max speed. Oh my god. Max walk speed crouched set. There we go. So this will be 1,000. So we back whatever it is. I think it's like 400 or something. 300. Yeah. 300. Okay. Change. Done. Okay, so slide. Okay, so we've got sliding in now. Now for multiplayer, the thing that needs to happen is we need to tell first of all this whole thing to replicate, and this character movement, all these settings need to replicate as well. So the character movement here, I don't know if this is already replicating. But it doesn't really matter too much because we are replicating the thing anyway. But we'll do replicates anyway. And start slide is going to do that. Now, we also want the RPC of this to tell the server, which should tell everyone else that you're sliding to. So the start slide here, we're also going to have custom event for a server call to start slide. Well, actually, would it actually matter too much? Well, no, because you need to change the animation of it. So that will do it here. Make that server only. On server. You have another one. Server call to stop slide. Again, that would change animation. Need to be. Now, the reason why I'm saying it would, I don't think you need to change like any extra code here, is because if we replicate the component, it should. Oh no, it won't. Because sorry, my bad. But the component won't replicate because we have to tell the server version that they're changing. That's where I'm getting wrong. Okay, so when you do this, you're going to go into server call the start slide, and in here you need to set the values all on this to be exactly the same. So I'm just going to go into here. In fact, we could just do... Oh, no, screw it, I'll just put that there. Whoop. Yeah, so it's going to do the same thing on the server version. And that should replicate down to everyone else. So your one will act immediately. The server one will act after lag. And then everyone else's will follow because this is replicating across to all other classes. So if I were to change this to 2-player. Oh. It's in server. Play like this. Obviously, we're not going to be able to see much. But we should see at least the gun go down, I think. Yeah. Okay, so we've got a bit of issues with the lag there. I don't think it's replicating the component enough. Let me try the server version. Server version works. So we do this on our one, changing this on the server one. Oh, wait, we haven't actually called it, that's why. Oh, start slide there and stop slide there. Help, wouldn't it? Silly me. Okay, so now we should hopefully see this bit smooth. Yay, there we go. So I can zip across the map. Multiplayer. Woo! Pretty funny. So yeah, sliding works. So a couple of things to note is we had to tick the character movement component here to replicate. We want all the values on side that component to replicate over to the clients. But when you tick a component to replicate or anything to replicate, it can only replicate from the server version down. You can't tell the client version to change the values and it will expect you to change everywhere else. It has to tell it on the server version. Now, we could have ignored this first start slide and stop slide and just done it straight to the server call. However, the problem with that is the lag. So there's a slight imperceptible lag between you pushing the key and it reacting. And what you don't want is the player to notice that lag. So what we do in multiplayer is we get it to play it locally as you push the button, and then we replicate it across to you as well later, so it fixes it. So you get a best of both worlds. So this is the correct solution for that call across there. But yeah, there you go. Yeah, try and find a new one. Costa. Brian, what business sector, movies, historical recreations, architecture, etc., has the most to gain from Unreal Engine devs? Looking for a niche. Thanks. Film, TV are big industries at the moment. They're all switching over to Unreal for their anything that's real-time production. So if you're looking to get a job in production in some creative field or want to find that sort of niche, there's a big uptake of real-time production in all media, games, architecture, visual effects in film and TV, and anything related to that at all will help. As for which one's bigger, it doesn't really matter. I think they're all growing as fast as they can, as quickly as they can. Film has more money associated to it, so they're going to be a lot, growing a lot faster. Getting a lot further ahead, a lot faster than say TV would be. But that is definitely where things are going. That sort of real-time performance capture as well inside of Unreal. That's growing quite heavily with things like live linking and things like that. It's still not great. It's still not perfect to what you want, but it's great for like prototyping things. But it's only a matter of time for that to catch on, and that'll grow. I envision that be Unreal's next big improvement, is that live performance capture inside of Unreal in real-time production. It makes things a lot quicker. Yeah, but what opportunities are over centralized with less jobs in film industry? At the moment, film studios are scrambling to train people up on Unreal and fast. So for them, it's all about visual effects and level design essentially, and set dressing, making things look good in that environment. That's the thing that they're getting the grips to handle with, because they're not used to it. They're not used to that sort of real-time technology and used to like Nanite and Lumen 5 to accomplish those goals. So they are scrambling hard to train people up or get people trained up in using just Unreal in general. The beauty of things like blueprints is that it makes it very quick and easy for people who are non-programmers to catch up and pick up those skill sets. So if they want to make it sort of interactive, they can do. By interactive, what I mean by that is like the camera operator will have some buttons on them that they can change like the lighting somewhat in real time, change spark effects in real time and things like that. Yeah, that's where they're at. Paul Finessi. Hi Ryan, I have a VR question on how to set up a playable third-person character instead of the virtual hands that can be used with the motion controller. So you want to do like Moss style, where you got a character running around a diorama and you can look down on them. Yeah, assume that's the case. So it's not much different really. The only thing you have to be wary of is on the player controller. So in the blueprint class and the player controller, you have to make your own player controller. In here, you want to make sure you untick the auto manage active camera target. The reason why is because the camera is going to be separate from the character. And when you possess the character, the default behavior for the player controller is to switch the camera over to whatever you're possessing. So if you turn that off, you can have the camera separate from the actor that you're controlling. Just make sure that then anything that's referencing the camera position normally that you would normally have in a character movement, so like if you want to run away from the camera, you're referencing the player camera manager and not the camera itself. That'd be the best way of approaching that. But yeah, just untick this, and then you have to set the camera manually and set the character to possess manually too, and then that'll work. Obviously I can't show you because I don't have a VR kit plugged in, but that is what you do. Just make sure you got that unticked. Brian Perfell. I have a question regarding lighting. Whenever a character goes from inside to outside, the lighting takes a good amount of time to adjust. Is there a way to avoid that? Yeah, so that is in terms to do with auto exposure. So you can control auto exposure or turn it off completely by using post-processing and or the project settings. I don't know actually about the timing project set. I'll have to double check, hang on. But if you search for auto exposure, yeah, so you've got auto exposure here. You turn it off and on. If you want it off completely, just take that off. The auto exposure here, using the histogram for auto exposure here, you can manually do it, but I don't know. It probably has to be on a post process. Hold on. If I click on post process, you want to check, you can change exposure stuff on it. Yeah, so you got the exposure speed up and speed down here. You can control these. If you want to change the speed of the transition, you can do that there. Otherwise, if you want to turn it off completely, just turn it off completely. But yeah, that's what you do there. Paul's follow-up question, this is a VR question. How can you switch back to virtual hands in the game to interact with the world So you enable input on both two characters, so you're processing two things at once. So, or your camera is got your controllers are just part of the character, but attached to the camera instead. Either way, but you can enable input on two things at once. So, for example, if I was to go to this character and make another one, and this one I won't process, so I'll turn off procession on this one. So there's two characters in there, but I've only got one. Oh, hang on, no, tough multiplayer. Okay, so I've only got one character processable. The other one is just standing there. If I want to make it so I can control both things, that's essentially what you're doing. You're controlling the god character and the other character. On this other one, you just need to enable input. Now you could do it inside its own blueprint, but I can't do that because it's two characters the same. But I can do it in the level blueprint instead. Reference to it. And on begin play, I can do enable input and plug that into there. And this will take the player controller. Now, one thing that this may break as well is, depending on how you set up your character, is that if once we enable input on that, it might break the input on the other one. Yeah, so it won't. So as I feared. So with these things, if you go to the move inputs here, you want to turn off consume. So on the, let's say movement ones, where's movement one? Here. Oh, it's turned off. Oh, why is that not working? Okay. It work. Imagine it would work. Turn off. You don't want it consuming input and into two things. Okay, I'll tell you what, we're just doing begin play, enable input on here. Input. Get player controller. And wait, work. If I was to push jump, let's turn off consuming. Do print string on there, and change it down to 0. I should get 2 hellos, come on, because 2 of them are being controlled. One's getting, I see only 1. Change that not. So let's change that to 2 seconds. Oh crap. Why did I put the build button right next to the play button? So annoying. Oh. Why is it not working? Because it's a pawn. So if not, just you have the controller as part of the character, you just move them towards the camera. So so imagine it's like the little mouse in Moss is in here. You have also the controllers there, and they just move over to wherever the camera is at that time. I'd imagine. Why that doesn't work? Enable input. Probably because it's a pawn. Probably because it's born. Can't say possess both because it only possessed one. Interesting. Yeah, you'd have to do it the other way then. Put in the controller as part of the character, make them move with them. Something to play about with. I'm not too entirely sure. That before. Look at that one. But if it didn't work that way round, I'll do it with the controllers in the character. James McElmore. Hey Ryan, I was wondering if there's a way to get AI to walk on walls. I've got a plugin that take care of the character's gravity. The issue is that the nav volume won't register walls as walkable surface, and it won't. You need to get hold of another plugin if you want to do that. Generates the nav mesh on. But generally, no. Not without some custom stuff. Yeah, wonderful. It's just the way it generates it. It's different. So you'd have to make something completely custom or get a plugin, unfortunately. Quickster games, tutorials, gameplays, and more. How many future AAA games do you think will begin to use Unreal, or do you think companies will stick to their own in-house engines, particularly with the release of Unreal 5? So there's a few contributing factors to this. So some stats, first of all. I think I saw Unreal tweet out or something like that, about 48% of games coming out this year or some stat like that. 48% of games coming out this year are using Unreal, so it's growing quite a lot. A lot of games are using it. Now there are definitely pros and cons to using your own in-house engine compared to using Unreal's engine. But the thing you have to keep in mind is that making your own in-house engine is very, very expensive. So a lot of companies won't do it if they can't afford it, and or see that it's cheaper for them to give money to Epic than it would be to spend that time and money investing on their own engine. So it comes down to individual studio finances. Games are getting more and more expensive to make because they are constantly pushing more and more tech and more art. More sound. It constantly growing and growing and growing. So you're going to see a lot of studios maybe choose to go with a third-party engine. But the big boys will always use their own because they've either got the money to do it or they've already developed their own in-house engine and are going to keep cheaper just to iterate on the current one they've got. So things like Rockstar with their GTA engine. Call of Duty with their engine, they're going to keep on using their engines because they've already got it. They're just going to keep iterating on it. But as for starting up from scratch, I don't imagine most studios will, just because it is a lot of work to do. But yeah. Stephen Brooks, hey, great opportunity to tell you thanks for what you do, man. Helping us noobs out so much. You're welcome. I'm glad I'm helpful. Joshua Hill, hi Ryan, I'm making an RPG combat system for an indie game project. Not sure how to go about making a parrying system. What would be the best way around it? So for that you need like a window of opportunity to allow the parry to happen. So I don't have any animation. Hang on, let me put some animations in here. We won't be able to build the whole thing because we don't have time for it, but I'll give you some direction. Second. Some animations in here. We'll put in this one. So you have the enemy do their attack animation stuff, So let's say, for example, this is our attack animation from the enemy. Okay. Like this thing. Okay. Okay. There's our attack animation for the enemy doing its thing. So in here, you need to set up a window of opportunity for the character to accomplish this. So in here, we're going to make a notify state to accomplish it. Now, you have to create your own custom notify state. And in there, we'll go and create pass notify state. And a notify state, basically, when it hits it, it's going to trigger something. And when it during its lifespan, it's going to be triggering each frame. So this would be parrying window. And on here, you're going to have on the functions override. So you've got a few things you want to do here. So in begin, you want to notify the player that, well, maybe depending on what game you're making. So in some games, you put a little marker above the enemy's head saying, like, hey, you can parry me. You put that on notify begin, and on notify end, you take it off. But to actually accomplish the parry, you go to the functions, override the tick, and on the tick event for this, again, this is happening every frame, and you don't have access to much stuff via the notify system because it isn't a spawnable object. It doesn't get instantiated. It's just an extra library of code. So what you have to deal with is accessing the animation blueprint to handle a lot of this. Oh, probably. So, when they receive damage, you want to notify, or about to receive damage anyway, they will notify the animation blueprint, which will then notify, will then check to see if they are in a parrying window. If they are, then you do the parry animation or parry effect, whatever it may be. And then if they're not in it, then you just carry on with the damage. So for example, notify begin here, you'd get the anim instance of this. Yeah. Anim instance. And then from there you can set up whatever you want to do in here. So like cast to your own animation instance, so first person anim instance, whatever. And then set up the variable in here, say is parrying, or can be parried rather. So it can be parried. And then when you hit him, you're getting the animation instance and checking whether or not that can be parried is true. It is true, parry. If not, you do damage. That's about it. And with the notify state, once you've done it, you go to the animation itself, and then you put it like, okay, so from this point onwards, a notify state parrying window, and you just design how long that window will be. So if I hit them in this with a parry and in this little window, then I can avoid the damage and then return it back to them. Okay, something similar to that effect. Obviously there's a lot more to it. I can't show it all right now, but maybe in the future I can make a video series about more complex melee combat. Hi Ryan, I hope you're having a good day. Oh, probably. It's been okay. It's been okay. I'm very tired, as per usual. Is there a way to make different actors spawn in the world based on the location of coloured squares in the image? No. You just have to assign the coloured squares to a spawn volume. So, for example, what am I doing? First, spawn volume. And here you have a box collision. And also decal. Round. Okay, so there's the decal. Need to make a decal. Material. Change that to from surface to deferred decal. And change it from opaque to translucent. Decal blend mode. We'll this one. And we'll make it unlit. So in here we'll have a texture or color. Be probably better. Oh, ooh, there you go. So yeah, put this in here. And this will be green, for example. That and then go. Yeah, then we go to the spawn volume and add that to it. So it's called new material. And you just make it part of the actual thing. So that is the spawn volume, and if you want to spawn an actor inside of it, you drag out this box. Let's say, yeah, like imagine this is the event for it. You want to do a not random, vector. No, what am I doing? Box extent. Yeah, box extent, and then random point in bounding box. Okay, box extent goes in there. Origin goes into get actor location, and then you apply that to a random point in navigable radius. Random point in navigable radius. Radius would be very short, like do 5, and then it will spawn something into it. Spawn actor class. Split this. Plug that into there. Choose the class you want to spawn. Let's say we want to spawn in. Let's make something. So do actor. Just add in something simple. Okay. There you go. We're going to spawn volume here. We're going to spawn this guy in. New blueprint. On. And that location. Okay, so every time we overlap him, he's going to do this at that random point. And I can make that if I want a variable too. I can promote that to variable and make that editable there. So I can customize it per thing here if I want to. So if I walk into this green area here, it should spawn one for me. Obviously the decal's affecting him, but go into it again, I'll get another one, and so on and so forth. But if I want to do a different color system, put no one over here and choose something else instead. Cube in there. You get the gist of it. You can then choose that to whatever class you want and change the color of it there. That's the only way I can think of doing it. As you can't say, well, not easily anyway, point to the screen and say, hey, what color is this? Then spawn something based on that. Be much better to set up predefined areas like this. Yeah, maybe. Okay, next question. Constable Catnip. It's series. I'm guessing you mean a different series. An FPS RPG series hasn't received an update in months now. Is there a new Survivor series? And there is a new Survivor series. Are you going to finish the other series? So I actually made a post about this on my Patreon. I think, yeah, just on Patreon. I may have done it on Facebook as well. So if you don't know what's happened over the past a month or so. Just before Christmas, when the series sort of suddenly stopped, my mum got diagnosed with cancer on basically Christmas, around about Christmas, and she fell really ill, and I had to go in for surgery on Christmas Eve, and then go again into hospital on New Year's Eve because she was throwing up blood and all sorts of things, and yeah, it all went really bad. And then at the start of January, my wife and 2 children all got COVID. So I was dealing with a lot of that. And yeah, it's just overall a lot of stuff going on. A lot of stress, a lot of family things going on and so forth. So a lot of series got paused at that moment in time because I just didn't have time to work on them. And in its place, videos were coming out that were filmed ages ago. So they've been coming out like that. Now, what that has meant as well, that as I've expended all those videos that I had saved up in the bank, basically, for the rainy day, so to speak. And the new stuff that you've been seeing, so the water survival game, and the animal one that came out as well. These were made because it's a lot quicker and easier to create at the beginning of a new series rather than the tail end of an older one, because they require where them series are at now, they need a bit more time and attention to get them going. So for example, the RTS series I've just resumed last week, and new episode that came out last week for Patreon, and they'll get some more eventually soon, as I do want to wrap them up because they are very near the end, so we do want to wrap those ones up. So it's literally a matter of finding time to sit down and just go through it as well. The December and January had a massive knock on everything. I mean, Fireteam was meant to be done by January. It's now coming into March almost. So it had a massive knock on it. But that's where we're at the moment. So yes, those series. So the series that are going to finish are definitely RTS. That's going to be definitely finished. FPS RPG series is not going to finish in its current iteration. But the FPS RPG series got stopped because I just wasn't happy with the way it was going. I wasn't pleased with the output and outcome of it. So what I want to do with it instead is to go back to and revisit it and relaunch it again in earnest before in some time, probably sooner rather than later. Probably after I've filmed all the Fireteam videos, because Fireteam videos are going to take some time to put together. So after that is done, I'll put those ones together too and do it better. As I just wasn't happy with the quality of it. So it'd be something similar to JRPG series where I made the whole series in one sitting basically, and it's now being edited week by week. So it'd be very similar to that, where the whole thing's been made before it comes out. Make sure it's been done and thought about. Yeah. Mike Botanoff, I've been using Unreal Engine for over 10 years and your channel is one of the best I've seen in terms of being informative and easy to understand. Thanks for all your hard work. Thank you very much. So lots of cool stuff hopefully coming this year. By the way, if you have not heard or taken part in, on Thursdays I do a live class session teaching AI in Unreal Engine 5. We've done 2 sessions so far. You can go back and watch these on the website, which is Lightool. You can find links over it. If you go onto Discord, you'll go into my Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. You'll find links into it. I'll put another link into it in a minute. But you can sign up to the class. It's completely free. You just turn up. It's at 3 PM GMT on Thursday. There's 6 sessions in total. We're on session 3 tomorrow. So if you want to take part in it, you get access to the resources I give you. So you can download the whole resource pack with all the zombie assets. We make a zombie type game. So in the last episode, we did the zombie chasing after you and talking about the perception system. In the next episode, we're going to go about their attacks. And it's all live and, as I say, free. Totally free for you guys to sign up. What we have to do is sign up and click the register button, and that's it. But yeah. Racing is fun. Ryan, do you know any great websites that have royalty-free icons looking for generic things like stop signs? I did know. Hang on. Let me go back and see if I can find them. Make sure these are still royalty free. I have to double check it because I read it more in fully. But Font Awesome is an open source icon website that have tons of icons. Check them out. I just trying to find information about their royalties stuff. They do have a pro license. Well, I don't know what that gets you. But yeah, I assume it is. Okay, yeah, they are just free to use. It's mostly used like for website stuff, so you can directly link them to website stuff, but you can also just download them. But yeah, Pro seems to be the best thing to do for that. I personally have a license to Shutterstock, royalty free, but oh, I think, yeah, yeah, that's it. Stefan, hi Ryan. Do you know any good guides for chaos physics? Been playing around with it, but trying to get destructible structures to not act like Jenga. So the best guides are probably Epic's own ones, their video live stream stuff. The reason why your one probably is doing a lot of Jenga stuff is you haven't put in the volume like anchor type stuff, where you put in the different structure integrity different places, so like it doesn't fall apart completely. It will have different structural integrities. They're probably the bit you haven't put into it because that involves a bit more work. Again, something I meant to do on my to-do list to catch up on and make, but I haven't had a chance to yet. But yeah. E-Fields, that's it. That's what it's called, Stephen. Yeah, thanks. That Arabic dude is asking a question. Hello, Ryan. Thank you for your time. If you can please answer my question. I want an actor, pawn, or assets like a house to be upgraded automatically through finishing quests. Is this possible? Yeah, of course it is. So it obviously involves a bit of planning forwards a bit. Because if you're say upgrading a house, okay, you could have multiple actors for different houses. And you just swap out the actors and replace them when you hit that checkpoint or hit that quest. Or an alternative method could be also level streaming. You stream in different levels based on that. That's what usually happens when you see big changes in levels, like house upgrades and things like that. They are usually level streamed. But with things like characters, we usually just change them directly, just change what parts they want them. So let's say this part of the quest, the character's now going to have a badge. That badge is going to be an actor that you a component that you spawn on it based on the save file. So you look at the save file, look at the progress been made, and then spawn that in at the start when it loads up. So that load screen you see at the start of the game is handling all of that stuff. So the load screen is showing, hiding, building, all the bits that you need to do based upon your last save that you're trying to load up. And we hide it all with a load screen. But yeah, that's it. Racing for fun. Ryan, would you recommend the zombie AI tutorial live series for someone with moderate skill, or is it purely for novice? I guess that's meant to say. I think it's useful for everyone because it does show a few unique things, especially when it comes to zombies. So, for example, one thing we cover in it is how to make a character that has non-linear movement. So a zombie, for example, has non-linear movement. They don't move at a constant rate all the time. They stumble and shuffle along. Yeah. So we use root motion for that. So I part of the live session is I went through was showing how to set up a character that uses root motion for the entirety of their movement. So there are little tidbits like that that are unique to it. Some little hints, tips, and tricks for it as well. And I say it's free, so you may learn some stuff, you may not learn some stuff. Worth checking out. Not going to hurt you in any way. So yeah, do check in and sign up for it. There's we're on session 3 tomorrow. They're about an hour long. So they're very different from say this. Like there's a whole like PowerPoint diagrams and things like that. See. How are we doing for time? Okay, we've got a few minutes left. So NLE Flopper. Hi, been having trouble with different weapons replicating. Oh, worry. Oh, so tired. Replicating on different players. I.e., one player has an AK on as a pistol. It shows only the pistol for both players. How could you fix this? Okay, so let's go and let's get rid of these things. Okay, so we've got a player character here. They've got a gun on it. Okay. I need to swap this out for. So, oh god, hang on. Quick gun. Making the gun. Good point. There it is. Done. I can get rid of one I want to put. It's firing code. Let me just chuck this in. Nope. Part of it. Custom event for this. Shoot. Okay. In plate. Get owner. Owning. What is it? Get. No. Get owner. Not owner. Get parent. Get parent actor. And then cast that to the first person character. And promote that to a variable. So then on here I can get hold of these match to P. That we're not bothered by this stuff because that's for like the touch stuff. We don't do that. Gun offset, what is that on here? Variable. Camera here. We'll just get layout camera manager. Dead. Get world location as sphere. We'll just do, give me a second. I've got to build a whole gun system. Oh. Enough collision on this. No collision. That'd be the sphere. Okay, VR, not using. Get rid of that. This and this. Play sound. Okay. Compile. That should do that. Okay, so to call this shoot here, we go to the player character. We're going to get this button here. We're going to get begin play. We do this. And we get the child actor. Get child actor. Whoop. Cast to our gun. So at the moment, I'm just trying to get the same functionality just with a gun as a separate object. I can swap them in and out. There's the gun there. So when I click the button here, we just take gun out. Shoot. Okay. So hopefully that still, yeah, shoots. Cool. Right, so that's the gun stuff. Right, so to get it to swap in multiplayer, I'm going to make 2 guns first of all. So let's create a child of this one. And this one, we're going to have a different 2 on it. Let's change that to, go into here. Create material instance. And body color. Change this one to red. Okay. Unchild. That was an instant. Okay, so are you going to save the stream? So yes. So the stream is available to Patreon members straight after the show, and everyone else next week. So here we got the gun child and the gun, 2 separate things, but do the same thing. So on the player character, if I do switching of the gun first, so let's say if I hit the 1 key, we're going to swap guns to the other one. Take the child actor, set child actor class, and choose gun. And if I yeah, gun there, and then if I push 2, same thing, gun child. So again, we just want to see if we can get it working with just single player first. So oh wait, yeah, it's because when I do this, I need to also set the we get the gun this thing. We do this. The reference has changed, so change it. Okay. Okay, so I've got 2 guns now. And let's take out the FP gun. Here. Oh. Okay. So 2, shoot, 1, shoot. Okay, so that works there. In multiplayer, if I put some multiplayer as is without doing any work to it whatsoever, we get this effect. So there's that character's gun. Be able to see. Oh, hold on. It's because it's set to auto. Okay, right. So there's my two characters. So if I go to this one over here, okay, there's. Never mind. Okay, so if I hit 2, my one changes here, but it doesn't change in the other characters, okay, because it's not set up to replicate. So to replicate it across, go to parent class, the player class here, and we'll switch weapon. Okay, so everything you see here, basically, we want to do also on the on everyone else. So we need to tell the server it needs to do this. So create a custom event, and there'll be a server call to change weapon, and we'll make be a server, and this will tell it what weapon we want to change it to. So we're going to go into here and do it class reference, gun, parent class, so gun class. And in here, we want to change this for every single person. So we're going to have a multicast on this as well. Multicast. I'm going to do multicast. Custom event. MC multicast for change weapon. So that everyone gets to see the change. Again, this needs to know what gun we're changing it to. Gun class. Okay, so the way this works is when we push 1 in here, we're sending over that. And then we want to call over the server, hey, I'm changing my weapon. So the server, going to call server change weapon. And we're going to choose the gun. And that will come over to here. Then on here, we're going to call the multicast change the weapon. And then everyone else is going to take this gun class and set it to a child actor. So I can take all this and cut that from there. I could just do that here. Place that there. Doing it that class. So one is going to change the class over to gun. It's going to tell the server to change the gun. Then the server is going to tell everyone else to change the gun to follow suit. 2 is going to do exactly the same thing. So it's going to get rid of this. And in its place, we're going to put in the change weapon server call. And we just choose the other one. Card. So okay, so let's test that out. 2 guns changed in the server call. I have to tell it to change on the everyone. Change back to 1. So I've got it working on server, it's not. So that's I forgot to change this to be replicated. So now go to here. 2, both change. 1, 1, 2. Okay, obviously shooting isn't replicated yet, but replicated later. But that is essentially what the pattern is. So you do the local request because all inputs are local. So that's a local client doing that. And then you're doing this, and then you're doing change the gun class over to the thing, and then changing that over to that, and so forth. So you're telling the server to change, and then telling everyone else to change to follow suit. Unreal Solver, is it possible to achieve the same effect using a rep notifier? I guess you could, yeah. You could do. You could have... You still have to tell the server to change the class. So change weapon here, it becomes gun class. Then you'd have... Make it with a rep notifier. You'd have a gun class as the class of gun that you want to use. My cat's going back to knock over my folder. Easy. Get up. Yeah. Yeah, so make this a gun child and make that replicate with a rep notifier. Gives you the rep notifier function. And then here, rather than using a multicast here, you don't need to do that. Instead, you just change this class here. Oh, sorry. Gun. But you still need to change it on the server. So the server needs to take it, and then the server will replicate that across to everyone. Without a multicast, it will do it on here instead. you just put this stuff on the rep to get the same effect. And class goes in. Okay, so it just goes across like that, and so if I play now, you should see a similar result. Good. Yep. Okay. That notifies across like this. You can do it either way. Essentially, does the same thing. You still got to communicate to the server that you want to change it. The server then communicates with everyone else by either multicast or a rep note. You just need to store the class as a variable, obviously. You can tell, by the way, I've been doing lots of online stuff for Fireteam. It's a lot of stuff. We're gonna do one more video, one more question, a very, very short question. You're welcome, Flopper. Churi, hey Ryan, always hear mixed opinions about casting. I hear it's best to avoid casting when you can. Other side, I hear just make your project function, casting or not. What's your opinion? Okay, so I think I can answer this question every time. So, casting, interfaces, tick. These questions always come up in every single session I do, every single stream I do, everything. These are three things that do different things, and are very useful for the thing they're meant to be designed for. There's a right and wrong place to use these things. You don't want to be using cast like a tick event, for example. Likewise, don't be calling interfaces all the time like that either. There's different reasons to do different things, which I won't go into right now. As for getting what you should be focusing on, what is your priority? And as you rightly said, as you've heard, just get the game to work. Just get the game to function. Get the game to be complete, working as intended. Then we can worry about fixing the broken bits. If you focus on trying to optimize everything as you're making it, you'll never finish it. Never. There's a reason why games have alphas, betas, then public alphas, public betas, and have all these different tests and prototypes and things like that. It's because they're building it and fixing it later. They'll go into polish at the end, and that's them fixing all the bugs, all thousands of bugs they may have. Because at the start of the development or during development, that's not the priority. The priority is to get the game done. Games are hard as hell to make. There's lots to them, a lot more than you currently probably think. Just getting one completed and released is an accomplishment on itself. So don't focus on optimizing, especially when you don't know what you're optimizing for. I've seen people go, "Oh, I need to optimize all this because it needs to do XYZ things and blah blah blah," and like, okay, but you're optimizing. Your game may run already at 120 frames per second on a potato PC. You don't know. You haven't really finished the game yet. You don't know what it's going to run like. So why you focus on trying to make it run at 500 FPS? There's levels of obsession there. So I see this a lot as well. People going like, it needs to be fully optimized. I need to keep consistent 60 FPS. Constant. No, you don't. Like, just get the damn thing made first, and then you can worry about it. I guarantee those people that worry about that sort of thing early have yet to finish the game. Yeah. So, but as for like casting and tick and all that, interfaces and all this stuff, they are tools that do their own thing. They can do other stuff too, but they are particularly useful for their particular use cases. For example, a cast is used to transform a reference into a from the child version to the parent version. Oh no, sorry, the parent version to the child version. Because you need it for a particular function or particular variables or particular things like that. Interfaces are there to give you generic functions, calls that you can call on different actors. So actors that share the same function but have different implementations of it. So for example, I can interact with a phone and I can interact with a door, but they're not related to whatsoever. But they'll still have an interaction related to it. So I don't want to do a different interaction code for a phone versus a different interaction code for a door. I can just say, I'm going to interact with you. And if I interact with a door, I imagine it to open. If I interact with a phone, I imagine it to call someone. So the verb is the same. It's the actual doing stuff that's very different, which you define on. And that's where the interface is. And tick is there to handle things that you need to calculate per frame, per tick. So things like smooth interpolations, you need to worry about them. Casting isn't good to put on ticks because casting is relatively expensive to what it has to do. Because what it has to do, it has to basically tell the computer to try and make this thing work as another thing. If it doesn't, it has to go back and revert back and report back saying like it failed to do this, which is a lot hot. Like imagine you like jumping over a gap with memory. You don't want to be doing that on a tick event. That's really bad. Most of the time you want to do stuff like what I did with the character here, where you are doing the cast and begin play, storing as reference, and that's it. Once you've got the reference to it, this is a blue pin is a reference, it's a memory reference, a pointer. Once you've got that, that's it, you're good. You can now reference that point whenever you want. The only times you would have to do different things with that is if you want to update that reference, i.e. like I had to do down here, update that reference. Yeah, because I had to go back and get the update. Like I could have done this as an interface, but the interface would still involve the cast because I still have to translate it over to get out the variable like this. So different things, different reasons. Don't let people bully into thinking one way or the other. Just make your game, get it done, get it made. That's the best advice I can give you. That'll do for today. Thank you very much everyone for joining me back on Question Time. We'll be live this Saturday too, as again to continue our retro remake of Bomberman. If you haven't seen the Bomberman retro remake yet, episode 1, do check it out. It's been quite fun so far and it worked out quite well, and we're looking forward to seeing more of that going forwards. So do check that out on Saturday's live stream at 11 PM GMT. As for content coming out soon, as I said, we're playing a lot of catch up at the moment. But JRPG will still continue to come out because that's all been recorded anyway, so that's just going on. We then got the survival series carrying on, which is a new series coming out. Fireteam content will be coming out very, very soon. As I said, Patreon members will get access to their Steam keys if they haven't already got one by the end of the week, hopefully. Got to set up and get the key requests and sort them all out, and send them over to you. The game, as I say, is feature complete. It just needs bug fixing, and I need help with the bug fixing because I can't test it an 8-player game all by myself. So we'll be checking it out. And I'll be jumping onto Fireteam right now, actually. So if you are a Patreon member with a Steam key, want to test it out, you can join me in a second. Once we finish the stream, I'm going to jump onto Fireteam and play some. And see if we can find more bugs. So thank you very much everyone for supporting me over on Patreon and YouTube members. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel for future content coming out. And again, thank you for your patience over the past few months. It's been a very trying time, but thank you so much for your continued support, and I'll see you all again next time. Good night everyone, and God bless.